All right, folks, we are back like we never left. Got another small cap review for you today. Today was a day to be patient. Um, Kind of a big picture theme that I kind of want to talk about today is being okay, not taking a trade. As I went through all the names, all the pre-market gappers, nothing really looked too great. I mean, we ended up getting a decent play on FRGT, and I will talk about that play in detail and kind of break that one down for us. But, let's just go through the gappers real quick and just go through some basic prep work as you'd see these things unfold in pre-market. So I'm going to take even the open hours off the chart. So here we have a leading gapper. This thing gapped up, it gapped up 142% by open VRAX. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Obviously, with a 142% gap, this thing is going to be super extended. Nothing even close to it here. It's opening in the middle of a consolidation range on the daily chart, and we see pretty typical behavior on this thing. When it opens in the middle of the range, um, there's just not much of a play on it in my book. I mean, there's no levels for it to bounce off of below, and with it being so extended, it's more than likely going to fail. Also, we have this 280 level that was, you know, probably the most obvious level on the daily chart, and we see it clearly respected in pre-market. We also have something like, what's this, like 10 million shares? Yeah, over 10 million shares traded and consolidated above this level. So as we're dipping below this level and testing it, coming up into open, we can assume that this is going to be strong and it is going to be tough to break through. And that's exactly what we get. We get a rejection right before open, a rejection directly after open, and another still within the first 15 minutes of the day here. So can't get over that very obvious 280 level and fail. So again, when we're opening in the middle of a range, it is likely it goes up and tests the closest level to the upside or the one to the downside. Here we get the upside test and reject on an overextended name. So was not appetizing at all, especially if it stayed under 280. Going down, I'm not going to trade a $62 name. AONC did not have enough volume and popped right at the open. I will save FRGT, FRGT. Um, we had AEMD, which gapped up about 60%. Why did I not love this one? Let's take a look at the daily chart. See here we are opening again in the middle of a range. Yeah, we do have a clear gap fill above, but if we look at the chart, that's a 10% move. I'm not trading 10% moves. I need something more than that. So when it does not have enough room to the upside, there's nothing there for me. Maybe if it opened and did a weak open to these pre-market levels, uh, perhaps. But again, this is a pre-market level. It's not a daily level. It's not a gap, and it's not going to be as strong as an actual daily chart level. So no levels in the middle of the range and not room to the upside. So not interested in trading that. Actually was a good short name. Kind of a similar setup to VRAX with a very clearly painted daily level that is respected in the pre-market and rejects at open. So moving on down the list, 42% gapper KITT, similar situation here. Let's look at the daily. All right, let me expand this. What do we see? Where's this opening? Is it directly at a daily level? It's right below one. And we also see clear history of this range getting rejected. That's why we have the daily zone here. So when we're opening right below it, push up to it, reject it at open, fade back down to the previous high day. Again, a better short name. So this one did have this support here at the 17-cent level, but it didn't open close enough to it. And before it went down to test it, it already showed, went up and rejected this level. So no good when it comes back down here for the retest. We'll do a couple more. You'll see the point here. So again, daily chart. This one did have a couple pivots that had opened right above. Not so bad, but let's look. Look at look at the range it has from the open to this zone. 10% under VWAP. Negatively stacked EMAs. No good. Not enough room there. No volume, no continuation. Hits the zone, fades. BNRG. What do we have here? This one, maybe a little bit better. Tiny little daily here. Let's go in there. Pause. Um, so yeah, we do have these daily levels, this very small baby gap right below it. But what's the issue with this one? Let's look at the volume. Yeah, we have 500,000 per 2-minute candle, and by 10 minutes into the day, we're looking at 100,000 shares per minute. That is not gonna work. It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna be able to move anywhere with that volume. Plays ping pong in this range that it had painted in the pre-market and can never get above it. And the longer it stays heavy on these bottom levels, you get the snap. So issue with this one, yeah, it did have levels below, but in terms of range, maybe a little bit better, but no volume. Can't get anywhere without volume. So all that point is to say, when you're looking at these charts, you're looking at things in the pre-market. A day where you don't take any trades is a day better than when you force a trade, you get stuck in something, you take a loss that you shouldn't be taking. I mean, none of these names gave any entry. What are you gonna, at least after market open, there's nothing, no possible way to get into that stock. There's no possible way to get in here unless you try to play this flag off of it. But again, no range under VWAP. I don't like it. No volume. I mean, there's something wrong with every single one of these names. Overextended, clear daily level resistance. So that brings us to FRGT. So this one, let's look at the daily. There's issues with this daily chart too, but it is able to overcome it with volume. And like I said, we will get there in just 1 second. So this daily chart, what do we have? It is opening directly under a bunch of pivots. We have 1, 2, 3, and then this red line is the VWAP from this previous run that it had. So look at this candle, open in this range, spiked up to, 130s and closes red. So kind of get a big boy version of this candle with, much more volume, much more range. So when it's opening and it is below, 1, 2, 3 levels, that's no good for me. That's limited range. That's not what I want to see. But what do we have? Let's look at the volume. 3 million shares, 2 million shares, 4 million shares, 6 million shares, 6 million shares. So we have a lot of volume on this name and it gets over these daily levels. Okay. We also have a nice move here. You get this stuff and just kind of move down another like stuff and move down below VWAP and it reclaims it. And then we get consolidation on top of this level. So we have a stuff move that gets absorbed on top of daily levels, on top of prior day VWAP. This is what you want to see. This is now an actual play. You have the decreasing volume, which is what you want to see on a flag below VWAP. You get the dip and rip right below VWAP. I like it when it goes a little bit below VWAP and gets absorbed on top. All the signs you want to see, and you get a really clean move out of it. You get the strong move straight up through the pre-market high. So even if you're looking at just this as the range, now we're talking, almost 20% there, and you have upper targets as well. So you get the move up to pre-market highs, bounces off it, super clean on good volume, and then you get an additional leg up. You get the halt, and you kind of get the spike and rejection, and right here you get a rotation, a super aggressive squeeze up towards the highs, and when you get these really aggressive moves up towards the prior highs that are already set, especially when you have a daily zone right above it. Where are we getting that from? Over here on the daily, clear, very clear levels. This is the lower zone that we have there as well, just the consolidation high and low. You see, rejects it, tweezer top look, engulfing candle, and it is done. Once it gets under, especially once it gets under this level, after a clear out like that, we're backside. EMA's crossed down, and we go all the way back. So you can kind of look at the clues of this candle where it does have a nice spike at the open, but ends up giving it all back. So, the lesson today, like I said, you have to be okay not taking a trade. Especially if you're one-sided bias. I reviewed all these, like I said, kind of from the long perspective, but there were names that you could have played to the short side, whether it was taking 280 entries on VRAX, whether it was playing these gap levels on AEMD or KITT. ISPC had a little bit more limited range. Obviously, it did, end up working out, but tighter range there. Yeah, this one gave a decent short opportunity too up here at these levels when you just see that it has no volume. I mean, especially after this. I mean, look at that. Nothing. No one's home. No one's home. So yeah, you got to be okay not taking a trade. If you feel compelled to take a trade every day, ask yourself, am I trading? Am I gambling? Am I treating this professionally? And what am I trying to do here? Because, we are not here to be right. We're not here to press buttons. We're here to make money. So when you have setups that say, chances are you're not going to make money, don't take them. Be patient. Like I said, the only trade for me that I would have taken today, and I did not take any trades, was this right here. In terms of pre-market structure, just to kind of go a little bit more in depth on this play, we do get, all of our consolidation up here on these upper pivots above 110. Um, you know, that's that's not what I want to see. That's why I have to wait and not take a weak open, um, and not, be patient for an actual setup. In terms of the volume ratio, we have, 33 million shares in the pre-market. What do we end up getting? 140 million. We do get that 4-to-1 volume ratio that you want to see, volume as a guide. The really only way you can overcome a questionable pre-market setup or these daily levels is with a ton of volume. So once you see a ton of volume, once you see it over these key levels, now you can take a trade. But anything before that, a lot more risky and a lot less likely to work. So hope you guys stayed safe today. If you're on the short side, kind of had your pick of the plays. For the longs, we've eaten a lot recently. So to be able to, take your foot off the gas, switch those gears, be a patient trader, can be difficult. So if you take your losses, keep them small, keep them within your trading plan, and stay safe out there. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to be learning small caps, just going over charts on the daily, 3, 4, 5 times a week, this is the place for you. Feel free to subscribe, drop a question, topics down in the comment that you want to discuss, and I'll be sure to get back to you. So appreciate you tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time.